In 1972, an ambitious environmental project began off the coast of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with the hope of solving two pressing problems simultaneously. This project, which involved the placement of discarded car tires on the ocean floor, was intended to create an artificial reef that would serve as a new habitat for marine life, while also addressing the issue of tire disposal. However, what was envisioned as a pioneering solution soon turned into a significant environmental disaster, a cautionary tale that would span decades and offer valuable lessons about ecological interventions. Captain Mike Roberts, along with a group of enthusiastic collaborators, devised what they believed was a groundbreaking plan. The idea was to use old car tires to build a massive artificial reef. This innovative solution aimed to address two major issues: the increasing problem of tire disposal and the need for creating new habitats for marine organisms. In the early 1970s, the disposal of tires was becoming a significant environmental challenge. Tires were bulky, made from non-biodegradable materials, and were piling up in landfills. At the same time, the idea of artificial reefs had gained popularity as a means to support marine life in areas where natural reefs were sparse or damaged. Roberts and his team saw an opportunity to tackle both issues at once. On a bright day in 1972, the project kicked off with much fanfare. The roar of boat engines disrupted the usual calm of the crystal-clear waters off Fort Lauderdale. The first load of tires was unloaded into the sea, and Captain Mike Roberts, standing proudly on the deck of his boat, watched as hundreds of tires were dumped into the ocean. "This is going to be amazing," Roberts shouted over the noise. "We're building a home for all kinds of fish and coral. Just wait and see." Roberts was confident that their plan would succeed, believing that the tires would soon become a thriving habitat for marine life. Little did he know that his well-intentioned project would soon spiral into an ecological nightmare. The project involved a significant logistical effort. Modified barges and specialized ships were used to transport the tires from the shore to the chosen site in the ocean. Cranes and conveyor belts efficiently moved the tires from collection points onto the boats. Divers, equipped with special tools, carefully placed the tires on the ocean floor. To ensure that the tires would stay in place, the team used strong ropes and metal clips to bundle them together. They hoped these structures would withstand the ocean currents. By the end of the operation, over 2 million tires had been deposited on the seafloor, covering an area roughly the size of 35 football fields. The team named the project Osborne Reef, hopeful that it would positively impact the marine ecosystem. Initially, the signs seemed promising. Small fish began darting in and out of the tire structures, and a green film started to coat the rubber surfaces. Roberts and his team were convinced that they had accomplished something remarkable for the ocean. As years passed, it became clear that the Osborne Reef was not developing as expected. The anticipated coral growth and thriving marine life failed to materialize. Instead of becoming a vibrant underwater garden, the reef increasingly resembled an eerie tire graveyard. The situation worsened as the ocean's power proved greater than anticipated. The metal clips holding the tires together began to corrode and snap, and the ropes binding the bundles weakened and broke. Tires became dislodged and scattered, causing further disruption. The intended artificial reef had become a dangerous obstacle for marine life. By 1990, the negative impacts of the project were becoming evident. A 12-year-old girl named Jenna Martinez was walking along the beach with her family when she noticed something unusual in the sand. It was a beat-up tire covered in tiny sea creatures. Her father, surprised to see a tire washed up on the shore, didn't realize this discovery was the start of a much bigger problem. Over the next few years, more and more tires began appearing on Florida's beaches. On some days, the accumulation was so severe that it was difficult to walk without tripping over a tire. The public grew increasingly concerned about the source of these tires. Underwater, the situation was even worse. The loose tires, which had started to break free from their bundles, began acting like giant rubber bowling balls, smashing into natural coral reefs that had taken years to grow. The once beautiful ocean floor was transforming into an underwater junkyard. When scientists descended to assess the damage, they were shocked by what they found. Dr. Elijah Katz from the University of Florida described the scene as resembling a war zone. Tires were piled up on the bottom, stuck between rocks, and even wrapped around the legs of sea turtles trying to swim. The area where the tires had originally been dumped was the worst affected. Instead of attracting marine life, it had become a dead zone, an empty patch of sand and rubber where nothing wanted to live. By the early 2000s, it was evident that something needed to be done to address the tire problem. The challenge was how to clean up 2 million tires from the bottom of the ocean. The task required significant time, money, and ingenuity. In 2007, a glimmer of hope emerged. Coastal America, a small federal office, agreed to use the tire recovery as a training exercise for the military. Army diver Jason Jakovenko and his team took on the monumental task of retrieving the tires. They managed to recover about 1,000 tires a day, but the work was grueling and dangerous. Jakovenko likened the effort to cleaning up a landfill underwater, noting the strong currents, limited visibility, and the risk of entanglement in debris. Despite the challenges, progress was being made, and each tire retrieved was one less threat to the marine ecosystem. As the cleanup efforts continued, they caught the attention of environmental groups and concerned citizens. Local dive shops organized volunteer weekends, allowing certified divers to assist in the tire removal process under professional supervision. These volunteer initiatives not only accelerated the cleanup but also raised community awareness about marine conservation. Volunteers were briefed on safety protocols and equipped with special tools to detach and lift tires safely. They focused on removing smaller, more manageable tires, leaving the larger or more deeply embedded ones to professional divers. The involvement of recreational divers provided a sense of accomplishment and connection to the ocean, turning the cleanup into a rallying point for environmental stewardship. Many volunteers reported feeling a renewed commitment to marine conservation after participating in the underwater cleanup missions. Despite the progress made by volunteers, it became clear that their efforts alone would not be sufficient to tackle the massive tire problem. In 2015, the Florida Department of Environmental Protection stepped in, allocating $1.6 million for a professional cleanup operation. The Industrial Divers Corporation was hired to handle the task, with an estimated timeline of over 2 years to complete the work. Industrial Divers Corporation deployed a team of divers who worked tirelessly to retrieve the tires from the ocean floor. Maria Gonzalez, the lead diver for the project, described their work as underwater archaeology. "We're uncovering the mistakes of the past, but also discovering how resilient nature can be," she said. In some areas, new life was beginning to take hold among the tires. The retrieved tires were sent to Port Everglades and then transported by truck to the Tampa area, where they were burned for electricity generation. This approach ensured that the tires, once an environmental hazard, could at least provide some benefit as an energy source. As the cleanup efforts progressed, Captain Mike Roberts, now in his 80s, continued to grapple with the guilt of having initiated the project. Despite his advanced age, he was determined to make amends. One day, he approached the cleanup team with an unexpected offer. "I know these waters better than anyone," Roberts said, his voice trembling with emotion. "Let me help you map out the worst affected areas." Initially skeptical, the team decided to give the old captain a chance. Roberts' extensive knowledge proved invaluable. He helped identify hidden tire clusters and dangerous underwater currents, providing crucial insights that enhanced the efficiency of the cleanup efforts. As news of Roberts' involvement spread, public opinion began to shift. Once condemned as the man who dumped the tires, he was now seen as a symbol of redemption. However, his participation was not without controversy. Some environmentalists argued that his involvement was a publicity stunt that distracted from the real issues. The debate raged on social media, with hashtags like MikeRedemption and Too Little Too Late trending. Despite the mixed reactions, Roberts persevered, and his contributions led to significant improvements in the cleanup process. During a routine mapping expedition, Roberts made an unexpected discovery. He noticed an unusual formation on the sonar, which prompted divers to investigate. To their amazement, they found a new coral colony growing among the tires. Scientists were thrilled by this discovery, as it provided valuable insights into how corals adapt to challenging environments. The new ecosystem offered a breakthrough in coral restoration techniques, speeding up the reef's recovery. Roberts' keen observation had inadvertently led to a major scientific advancement, further solidifying his redemption story. As the cleanup progressed, marine biologists made some startling discoveries. Dr. Elijah Katz from the University of Florida reported that certain fish species had adapted to life among the tires. Some fish had developed specialized feeding techniques to exploit the unique environment created by the tires. The Osborne Reef cleanup became a case study in environmental remediation, attracting researchers and conservationists from around the world. In 2018, an international conference was held in Fort Lauderdale to discuss lessons learned from the tire reef and strategies for preventing similar disasters in the future. By 2020, significant progress had been made. More tires had been removed from the ocean floor, leading to noticeable improvements in water quality and the return of marine life to previously barren areas. However, challenges remained. Over 500,000 tires were still in place, many buried in the sand or covered with marine life, making them difficult and potentially dangerous to remove. Cleanup teams had to carefully balance the need for removal with the risk of causing further damage to the recovering ecosystem. The task was complex and required ongoing efforts and innovation. In 2022, 50 years after the initial project, an unexpected ally joined the cleanup efforts. tech billionaire and environmental advocate Elena Reeves saw an opportunity to test new cleanup technologies. Her company, Ocean Tech Solutions, deployed a fleet of autonomous underwater vehicles OVs designed to assist human divers in locating and retrieving tires. "We're combining cutting-edge robotics with human expertise," Reeves explained at a press conference. "Our OVs can map the seafloor and identify tire clusters, making the divers' work more efficient and safer." The introduction of this technology accelerated the cleanup efforts dramatically. Within a few months, over 600,000 tires had been removed from the Osborne Reef site. Marine life began flourishing in the cleared areas, and new coral growth was observed. The story of the Osborne Reef will be remembered for years to come. It serves as a powerful reminder of how even well-intentioned projects can lead to unintended consequences. Scientists continue to monitor the ocean's recovery, noting that while some species of fish and plants are rebounding quickly, others may take many years to fully recover. Captain Mike Roberts, now a very old man living in a retirement home near the beach, reflects on the past with a mix of regret and pride. He spends his days sitting on the balcony, looking out at the ocean, and contemplating the events that transpired decades ago. "We really thought we were doing something good for the ocean," Roberts told a reporter recently. "I guess it just shows you can't always know how nature will react. But I'm proud of how everyone has worked together to fix our mistakes. It gives me hope that we can solve other big problems too." Looking ahead, there is hope that the site where the Osborne Reef once stood might one day transform into a beautiful and lively underwater world again. Alternatively, it may remain as an underwater museum, reminding us of the importance of careful consideration when attempting to alter natural environments. The next time you see old car tires being disposed of, think about where they might end up. Remember the lesson of the Great Tire Reef: even when we try to help, we can sometimes cause significant problems. How can we do a better job of protecting our oceans and ensuring that our good intentions do not lead to unintended consequences? Share your thoughts and ideas in the comments below and continue to stay engaged with efforts to preserve our remarkable watery world.